What's going on, guys? Welcome to For the Fans coverage of the Brochella and the Dire Fest evictions this week. I'm Kevin. I'm here with Sheldon and Mike as always.
Hello.
And today we have a very special guest from Big Brother 13, Adam Poch. Adam, good to see you, man.
Welcome, Adam.
Thank you for having me. I guess instead of the metal horns, I should just be like doing the four, right? For the fans, for the fans.
Listen, we could be for the fans, the after party in here. We're doing all the things. We're hanging out. We're enjoying life. Thank you for joining us, Adam. I've been watching Big Brother for a long time, so getting to chat with someone from the show is always fun. You're
Why, are we going to have someone from the show on here? Because
you were there. You were in the house.
It's so funny, like being a super fan and like playing the game, or some people said I didn't play the game while I was playing the game, but whatever. Like it's still surreal to me that I'm part of that fraternity of people that played the game, because I'm so much of a fan. And again, like I've been watching, 20 of the 24 seasons, probably 20 of them I've watched straight through. The early seasons when I didn't have a DVR, it was a little bit harder. But the fact that like I've watched more Big Brother than I played, so I still consider myself more of a fan than a player. But yeah, then I get to talk to you guys. You guys like, wait, you were in the house? Oh my god! I'm like, oh yeah, I was in the house. Yeah, I did that.
Do you think you look at the game differently than myself, Kevin, and Mike do? Because like you were in there, you felt the stress. We played the conflict. How do you? What's your view of when you're watching?
You were in there to the last day, like you were in
Yeah.
there the whole time.
So it's funny. My wife, who at the time when I was on the show was my girlfriend, she had never watched the show, so she never like knew the backstory of the show or whatever. So she was trial by fire. But I used to, like, when I watched, I would say, "Oh God, I hate that person." Now, when my wife says, "Oh, I hate that person," I'm like, "You hate the way they're being portrayed."
Okay.
Give him a chance. You don't know them.
Right. And what I've found, from being in the fraternity is there are people that I love on the show that they get out of the house and I can't stand them. And then there's people on the show that I can't stand. And then I meet them and I'm like, they're great people.
Are we naming names? Are we naming names?
If this was a real after party and there was an open bar, then maybe I'd be naming names.
Here. Take it.
Can you name one where you were out on and then became real good friends with?
Paloma.
No, I actually, and it's funny because I was just talking to this person today, Matt Hoffman from season 12. So funny story was I was a finalist for season 12 and I almost got on. And Enzo basically took my spot because, they always have like one weird older guy. So either Enzo or Andrew. So I was... I wasn't Jersey Shore enough, so they took Enzo, and I wasn't Jewish enough, so they took Andrew. But part of my backstory was, like for the 6-7 years before I started auditioning for Big Brother, my father passed away from Lou Gehrig's disease, and then my mother passed away from cancer. So I had like just bad shit happen in my life. And when Matt Hoffman went on there and said like his wife had a disease in her leg and he was looking for sympathy, wow. I was already playing the game for next season. Like, oh my God, when I tell people my story about the tragedy I've been through, people are going to be like, he's bullshitting. Remember that guy last year that said all that? Mm-hmm. So I was like, I legitimately did not like him. And I also wasn't, rooting for Enzo because he took my spot.
Right.
And Enzo, I'm in like a fantasy baseball league, 2 fantasy football leagues with Enzo, Matt Hoffman, and I. Like we talk all the time. We were reminiscing today about today being the 11-year anniversary of the double eviction during Big Brother 13, where Danielle and Jeff went home. And I dare anybody to tell me a double eviction that knocked out 2 better players than Danielle and Jeff in the same night.
Didn't happen tonight. It did
not happen tonight. No.
But I did learn something there. They like Jews because maybe I'm about to get cast.
Yeah, no. We got a fraternity. Eric Stein, he was part of the family. I almost called her Veronica. What was it, Vanessa? No, what
Vanessa?
was Victoria?
Victoria.
Victoria.
Yes.
So
BB13.
wow, I have an in.
You have an in, Sheldon.
Good for you.
But you see, and that's why I said they should have put me on season 12 because I was the bacon-loving Jew and Andrew was the kosher Jew. So like we would have definitely clashed. That would have been must-see TV.
Problematic. It would have been problematic.
It would have been fun. Jew versus Jew.
Well, before we get too deep in the show, I do want to let everyone know that we will be giving, just like we talked about that before, every episode, we will be giving away a golden power of veto signed by a former house guest, similar to Adam. Not Adam, but similar to Adam. We'll be giving away.
No, if I had a power of veto, I would never give it away. Because you never know in life when you're going to need to pull out that veto.
And then
we will not be sending a power of veto to Adam.
We just need you to subscribe. As soon as we hit 250 subscribers, we will be doing that. So get subscribed, like, comment, all those good things. Adam, you are here, sir, to talk about the episode with us. We're happy to have you. You ready to get into it?
Oh, I think this was one of the best weeks we've had in a long time.
Oh my God, yes. Diarrhea Fest, whatever. It was not Diarrhea Fest. It was a great time.
Beautiful.
You know, okay, so let's just set at the top of the episode here. We had 2 evictions. They sped through the very first one, right? I don't know if you saw. They got the first eviction done by the 12-minute mark.
Yes.
They said we had a lot of stuff going on outside. This is pretty commonplace. There's really nothing to talk about. Jasmine was faking her injury towards the end.
Oh, and her accent.
Yeah, well, she's been faking the accent the whole time. The injury, she says in the diary room, hey, I've been faking the injury. Doesn't matter. Jasmine is up next to Monty. Jasmine goes home. Very easy, very cut and dry. We don't need to get too much into that.
Well, no, I just want to say one thing. I know you don't want to get into that, but at least she confessed that she was faking.
Yeah.
At least she woke up and said, "This is an act. I'm trying to get sympathy." It wasn't effective, but at least we saw some game from her.
I completely agree. Once she said that, I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now you're gone though, so we're not going to.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you for that.
You get to that interview with Julie, and the accent isn't all over the place. It's very Jasmine. I'm like, I like this girl. Where has she been the entire season? Too bad she's gone now because she might have had a fan. But
like I said, my wife will say, I hate this person. I hate this person. Like when she saw what Jasmine's shoes were, she's like, there's no way her ankle hurts and she's wearing those shoes. And she walked out like a boss. Like she
looked great.
But I'm sad to lose her. I'm really sad to lose her because I watch for the comedy. I watch for the comedy and the tragedy. And I mean, she was both. She was both wrapped up in one. She was like, we've had some decent comic tragic players recently, like Raven and Rockstar. I mean, those were just people that you just can't stop watching just because you don't know what's going to happen next. Right. So Jasmine being gone, and again, who's Turner going to bug now? And like.
So, but she was the joke. Like I was over the shtick. Her shtick in the diary room. Like I was like, to me, the only like saving grace of Jasmine has been Turner. So it's Turner getting that upper hand, right?
Watching Turner imitate her accent and her colloquialisms, like when he's just sitting down and just hanging out, is just the funniest. It was the funniest thing, and we're still gonna probably get a couple more. Oh. He said, "What would Jasmine say right now?" Well, Jasmine would say, "This is hotter than some pork fries on a fish fry." So we
were robbed. We were robbed of a Turner goodbye message to Jasmine. Anything else in this season, we're not going to be robbed any more than we were tonight. Not hearing Turner talk to Jasmine as she walks out that door.
I'm so happy you're gone. You being gone is hotter than.
I actually think he had a secret, childhood crush on her. Because remember when you were like 10, 11 years old, the girl that you liked, you'd pull her hair, you do something to her, right. You like throw dirt at her or something like that, meant you liked her. So he's missing Megan, obviously, and maybe Jasmine's his type.
Conspiracy.
Well, I have to ask Adam. You were in the house. We heard all of Jasmine's fake accent. Is production telling her to put that on a little bit, or is that all her?
Let's just say they might have encouraged it from time to time.
That's what I was wondering.
They would encourage it.
Like she probably did it once, and they're like, "We love it."
I say this all the time. Anything that anybody says or does in the diary room is 100% on them. Now, if they are pushed, coached, encouraged, whatever you want to call it, it's still on that person to be able to project what they want to project. So now instead of what they think you want, the production wants. So, hey, there was a time where they were asking me questions, not to go back too much on my season, but
we're going to talk about it too.
They asked me about, what would be the benefit of saving Danielle instead of Kalia this week? And I said, there is none. I said, well, what would and I'm like, none. And and they asked me like one more time, and then like, okay, you can go now. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then that's when I started figuring out, like, when they're asking you something, they want something, and if you don't give it to them, you know what? They'll get the soundbite from somebody else. So that's one less diary room.
Well, that's the thing, because I think it really depends on who you are as a player. Like, are you there to play a game and to win, or are you there to be on television? And to me, it was so clear she was there to be on television, because she was not there to play.
I would agree with that statement.
They held up a card after that competition. She goes into the diary room. She's talking about the drumsticks. She's just going in. She's just like,
drumsticks. Yeah,
so we have drumsticks. We have to count them. Whatever. They just hold up a card that has an actual drumstick on, like a chain. She's like, oh, you know what? Now I'm
listen. Cajun Cam in the chat said they probably gave her the lines to say, "I do not think so, Cajun Cam. I think that she, because I remember seeing her sit there and say she was gonna tell Julie she was hotter than a chicken wing at a cookout or something like that. She was gonna say that line. I saw her working on it. She didn't say it that week, but the following week in the diary room,
it wasn't ready yet. It wasn't ready yet.
It wasn't.
She hadn't perfected it yet.
Working on her method. I love it.
She was saying it, and I'm sure Andy was like, "Gotta keep workshopping. Give me some more. Give me something else." And so I think that all of those, they definitely, like Adam said, encouraged. They told her, like, we love it. And they were like, do you got anything else? Get any more. So she knew that they were liking it. So then in her downtime in the house, she's sitting there with the writer's book, just writing out in her mind.
No, you can't write. You can't write.
No, in her mind. She's writing out new lines that she's gonna try out.
Yet she kept using the same line, my birthday. And as a fellow Leo, I can respect it. I do have a birthday week as well. I definitely have a birthday week.
She had a birthday year.
Exactly.
Adam, you make a very good point. We at the top of the show, we need to wish Jasmine a very happy birthday month.
Right.
It is her birthday month still. It is still August. So happy birthday month to Jasmine. Go into the jury house. I just want to make sure I said that to her.
I forgot to send her my gift for today. I sent the other 25.
Make sure you still have time today, Mike.
Oh shit!
You got to change the address to the jury house. You got to change the address to the jury house.
Forward her mail to the jury house.
So
all right, Jasmine, let's pull it back. Yeah, let's pull it back.
Well, Jasmine's the first to go. Any last thoughts though for Jasmine? I know we've talked about her quite a bit. What do you think of her game itself?
It's funny because she was trying to play a good game, but that whole side, like, they just week 1 and 2, everything was going their way, and they just said, we got this, and did not put the pedal to the metal. And getting duped in the Big Brother house is pretty easy, because one of the things I always say is when people tell you the truth, you think they're lying, and when they're lying, you think they're telling the truth. So many people were lying to her, and she believed what she wanted to believe. And again, like, after 2 weeks of, hey, the vote didn't go our way, how many votes went? Those are the people. How that never happened, was a good job by the other people for fooling them so well.
I think the leftovers did a fantastic job of identifying who was the most dangerous in order as they went down the moment they formed, because they were like, well, Amira's probably the smartest. She's got to go first. Yep. Then they were like, well, Daniel and Nicole are causing the most problems. They got to go next. But Jasmine has to be right after them because Jasmine's the next to probably figure us out.
Yeah.
When Taylor refused to put her up, they're like, fine, we'll take Indy because she was after Jasmine, but we will circle back to Jasmine the first chance we get.
Yeah.
The thing to me about Jasmine's game is that there was just a lack of versatility because she didn't understand what was going on, and then when she started to kind of realize it at times, and I don't think she fully ever did, but like there were so many hints along the way, but she didn't try to do anything. Like the fact that she thought this week that she wasn't going home, when the truth is she probably should not have gone home. Monty was the bigger threat. Right, Monty, this should have been a layup for her. This should have been an easy night. And she didn't capitalize it. She never finished the deal. And I wish she did.
I was going to say, I think, honestly, and this is like probably the nicest thing I've said about Jasmine all season, but maybe she underestimated her target level. Like she couldn't, it just seemed like every time she actually talked game on the feeds, in the diary room, it was always like, I can't be the one to be voted out. I have a broken leg. I won an HOH, but it was, anyone could have won that one. It was like an underestimation of herself. So maybe she just really, every time, something got hard, she just thought maybe I'm not going to go. Like this week, Monty's going to go home. Like you said, in reality, Monty should have gone home if we're looking at threat level. But I don't think she took into consideration connections, alliances, things like that. And she underestimated herself, I think.
Adam, do you think Monty is a bigger threat than Jasmine?
100%. I mean, Monty's been on cruise control for a month now. He hasn't had to do anything because the whole point of the leftovers was let's fake that Monty's the target because he is such a big, imposing character. They're going to come up on a veto or an HOH where he can definitely will win and I think they worry about like some of the strength competitions later on in the season. Plus, Monty's shown that he's not a complete idiot. He's not just muscles. He is pretty smart too. So I said Michael made the wrong move on his last HOH by not getting rid of Monty right before Jerry, because I feel like that would have been like he would have gotten out the house target and he would have been smooth sailing the rest of the way. He could have sold it to the leftovers easily. He would have gotten the other side because the other side all wanted him. I think that would have set him up in a great spot where he didn't have to win every single week. And now instead he wins and he gets rid of the easy people. And now somebody's going to take a shot at him.
I think I disagree with the three of you. I don't think that Monty is the biggest threat myself, and I say this for this
biggest
reason.
threat.
No, more than Jasmine.
I think he's a bigger threat than Jasmine.
Well, the reason I say that is because the seven, as far as they knew, obviously outside, everything happening outside, they're not privy to. Yeah. But for the three of them inside, this dude has been loyal to you guys all the way. From like you said with Michael, as we know in the feeds this week, Monty has been discussing taking a shot at Michael sooner than later, but it's still within the seven. So I don't know, because I get what you're saying though, Adam, in terms of him getting the rest of the other side if he had done it on his first HOH. But there's too many other people that you're not really in control of on the other side. In terms of the leftovers, you're smooth sailing right there. You're rolling through. And so, like, for me, in my opinion, like, Monty's a big threat because we keep saying he's a big threat, as in the people in the house. But he hasn't really done anything. He's won one HOH. That was it. He hasn't won any vetoes. He is not even necessarily driving the strategy from within the leftovers. The leftovers is the most democratic group I've seen of any alliance ever. So
Quack Pack was pretty strong.
Diplomatic, was very diplomatic as well. Both the Quack Pack, yes. Dan was being fake diplomatic and making sure the things he wanted done
when it got down to the group.
Correct.
Which again, you take the shot before that, and because I think Michael could have made the good point to get him out then, and just But I see what you're saying too. Like Monty hasn't shown. But he hasn't had to. He hasn't had to.
The rest of the alliance, Well, yeah, and that's another thing the one last point I want to make. I think it's very interesting that when like Monty volunteered to go on the block, not this time, but the first time, he was telling Joseph, like, we can't have Michael doing everything for us, dog. We got to do some stuff ourselves. Right. So we got to volunteer to go on the block because Michael, little scrawny Michael, he's the big boss dog around here doing him and Brittany are doing all the heavy lifting for us. And he realized then that he's like, look, man, Taylor keeps going on the block. Michael's winning all the vetoes. Like, this is a very diplomatic process in terms of deciding on strategy. We're not really doing shit. So
isn't that exactly what you should be doing until probably about now in the game?
It's not a terrible idea, but what I'm saying in terms of threat level, right? It has not, to me, it didn't rise. None of all those decisions kept his threat level pretty low.
But I think the threat level wasn't just Monty by himself. I think it was the Monty Joseph duo. That's what created that real fear in people. And the truth is that right now, and we're about to go into what happened outside, but without Joseph any longer in the house, Monty is a little bit of a free agent. Like he might.
I disagree wholeheartedly with that, and we're going to get into that right now. Let's go to the outside, right? We just like the show. They only talked about it for like 12 minutes. The inside, we went right to the outside.
Longer than Kyle's sex life, but hey,
yeah, that was 10 seconds. That was 10 seconds. We know that. That was quick. Like we know that.
It happens. It happens. Don't worry.
Heading outside though to Dire Fest. We get Terrence, Alyssa, Kyle, Turner, and Joseph. We got currently Turner off the block, Joseph and Kyle now on the block, which was a little bit of a shock because they didn't know that was going to happen. I do believe they did not know that was going to happen. As we know, and we've discussed here, there was allegedly, and we believe it, a wall yeller out there, so a few of them saying some things which I think definitely turned the attention to Kyle from the wall yeller. By the way, y'all. I don't know if you guys talked about it yesterday. I didn't get to see the show yesterday. I don't know if y'all talked about it, but I love the fact that Terrence said by putting Kyle up, that allows for discourse to be had about it. Dialogue. And when I heard him say that, I was like, oh, they told him you can't just say because someone yelled over the wall. That was they coached him on the words to say because Terrence DJ Showtime ain't no way saying dialogue. That is not a word.
Can we also talk about the fact that Terrence has had to like announce every single thing that happened out there all week? Like, I won the power of veto. Like it's been hilarious. Not to change the subject, but it's just so funny to hear him say, "I have won the golden power of veto."
No, you know what? I think the best part of Dire Fest was that it was old school Big Brother. It was just cutthroat. It was every man for himself, like cutting and scratching. And again, like I'm not going to get into the whole, Kyle thing because of what I think Kyle actually did a great job of selling out his alliance at the right time and getting the right people involved. Because again, like you can't underestimate the sense of desperation, what that will do. And look at the opposite, Joseph. Joseph was like, I'm in a good spot. I'm sitting back. And that's why Joseph is gone. And that's why Kyle's there, because that's how old school Big Brother was played. You did whatever you had to do to get to the next week, because who knows what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. And yes, some of the things might come back to bite you, but let them come back and bite you while you're in the house rather than get voted out too early.
I don't disagree. One of my favorite things.
So I knew that was going to. One at a time. Class.
One of my favorite things about the outside, and you said it, Adam, that it felt like old school Big Brother. It actually visually started to look like old school Big Brother. They're not outside anymore at all. We hardly see them, and we finally see these shots of like they're kind of sweaty, they're gross, the sun, the lighting is imperfect, and it brought me back to 20 years ago. Like I loved it. I want more of it.
Evil Dick smoking a cigarette.
Yes, yes. Like it just felt like, oh my God, this is the Big Brother I actually fell in love with. Bring it back to me.
Well, one thing I was gonna ask, Adam, you week 3, right? Rachel's HOH, right?
Oh, here we go.
She
Yes.
she puts up you and Dominic, right? Take us through being on the block. Like before you're going on the block, take me through what happened with Kyle, right? Because Kyle is scrambling. Take me through that.
Okay, so for
What's
that
the mindset?
week, okay, no, so it was funny because when I was put up on the block week 2, I was pretty sure I was not the target. I was pretty sure it was me and Dominic. I was pretty sure they were taking on Dominic. The second time I went up, I was like, they might be coming after me. And to be there on Thursday night, the first time that I was there on eviction night, like you start seeing people talking, in corners and like people that never talked before you see talking. So you start getting paranoid. Well, I think what happened with Kyle was starting to feel that. And he even said it tonight, like he was still not 100% sure what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. But I feel like having somebody like Joseph next to you, which I had Dominic next to me, who was obviously, physically a bigger threat. But I think he talked his way out of the house. I think Joseph got a little too preachy and thought, okay, if I come clean, people will respect that. But it did the exact opposite. It turned Alyssa off. It turned Turner off. And, that sealed his deal. So for Kyle being put on the block like all of a sudden, which I think was great. I think that Terrence's HOH, next to Turner's is the best HOH of the season as far as gameplay wise. Yeah. But to put those two against each other just to get more information when he knew, we're getting rid of Joseph. And worst case scenarios, Alyssa is not getting rid of Kyle and I break the tie. So, but you still never feel 100% safe until Julie reads the votes. And that is something that it gave me a little bit of anxiety thinking about that, because again, like when you're sitting on the couch, like that's when alliances, that's when trust is built, when people that tell you they're voting for you actually vote for you. So until that happens, there's always that shadow of a doubt. And again, I think Kyle, gave Alyssa 20 of the best seconds of her life. Right? They did it twice.
They did it twice.
So I feel like he was definitely more comfortable than he would have been had Alyssa not been there. If it was just Turner and
one of the other
Brittany.
guys, Monty.
I was actually going to say Monty. I know we're going back inside the house for 1 minute. We don't want to go in there for too long. But Monty's face when they were voting, his face actually seemed like what you're talking about. Like I know that I'm safe, but Julie Chen is on the screen and I'm sitting in this chair right now. I could be going home. And until they said Jasmine, it seemed like that's the only time he actually felt relieved. And yeah.
Do y'all think so? I don't understand, and maybe I'm not giving Terrence enough credit. I kind of feel like this week and this successful HOH for Terrence might have been a mistake. And not like an accident, not a mistake. And it just kind of happened. Or is he actually really smart and really strategic? And this was all perfectly planned. Is it just kismet? Like, what is this?
I said last night, like, everybody needs this in the game. Nobody was born. I mean, some people, Dan Giesling, whoever, was born to play Big Brother. Most people are not born to play Big Brother. Terrence was not born to play Big Brother. But every player needs that lighter under their ass. And hearing, like I said last night, when Terrence hears that he was not chosen on that team with Monty and Joseph to be a part of the team, he's devastated. He doesn't show it too much. He is absolutely devastated. I truly, and I hope this is true, and I believe it is true, I think that was the fire lit under his ass. I'm ready to fucking play. Sorry for my language. Well, I'm ready to play, and I think that's what it was. And I hope
I think you're right about that, and also hearing that, all of the decisions we thought we were making, there's been a majority alliance all along, so we've made no remember when we tried to save Amira? Oh, that wasn't actually a decision we had. No. Remember when we tried to save
everything I've done for
Daniel, Nicole,
Indy? None of those things were ever.
But again, so fine, fire lit under his ass. But did he actually do this all purposely? Or was it just an
I think
accident?
after that he did. I truly think after that he was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna cause chaos.
Luck is part of being in the right place, but also
Yes.
taking the right information and using it. So yeah, I mean, Kyle was reeking of desperation. Gave Terrence, and the one thing that he told Terrence that put that lit the match or whatever you want to call it was they didn't bring you into the threesome to protect you. They brought you in the threesome as a sacrificial lamb. So when I threw that veto to Michael and yep. So I mean, and as far as Terrence being a player, he was really trying, and on other seasons, he might have been able to make more of an impact to save Daniel because he was saying and doing all the right things.
Mm-hmm.
However, didn't realize that Monty was the part of the crew. So by saying put Monty up, and getting everybody else to say put Monty up, that almost worked. And I mean, it didn't almost work. It could have worked.
It could have worked with the right HOH. Yeah.
So again, it's shocking because we look at Terrence as just being the horse that you're dragging to the end. But he actually, he seems like there's a player in there somehow. And again, what's going to happen now, and how are those waves going to crash onto him, or are they going to pass by him and everybody else is going to start going after each other?
Well, here's the thing. If this, I'm fast forwarding a bit, but if this fork actually is loyal to each other, he might actually have a chance.
Before you get into that in the 4, I want to talk a little bit more about before the eviction.
Yeah, let's talk about the party before we talk about the after party.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah. Because
the eviction
one of the things that I thought was very, very, very interesting was watching Joseph call essentially a house meeting of the 5 of them, and the combativeness of Alyssa in this house meeting when she is saying to Joseph, "You've been lying to me this whole time. Why should I believe you now? Your boyfriend's also been lying to you this whole time. It's not like this is you learned about this stuff 3 days ago. So for you to be coming at Joseph as if he's the only one that was lying. I mean, both of them were in the 5 swatters, right?
Am I wrong? Wait. I'm going to stop you right there. Have you ever seen Law and Order?
Yeah.
Who gets the deal? The first person that talks. Kyle was the first person that talked, so Alyssa believed him. If Joseph would have told Alyssa all this shit that Kyle was doing without Kyle telling her first, Kyle goes up, Kyle's out the door. But Kyle spilled the beans first, so when Joseph came back with it, it was too little too late. I already know this.
She's also madly in love. So
yeah,
that helps.
That's 20 seconds, best 20 seconds of her life, man. And
I also feel like let me finish this point. Okay,
let me finish this point. Okay.
Sorry.
So no, it's fine. Let me finish this point because you're right. Whoever talks first, I get that. But the thing that I was having was the problem I was having was the anger in her voice was she was as if mad at him for trying to save himself. And then when she's telling him stuff that Daniel had previously confirmed to her, like the fact that he wasn't going to use the veto. And then now Joseph is confirming this, even though Kyle told her otherwise. There's no way that Joseph knows the thing Daniel had already told her. But like you were saying, Adam, this 20 seconds has changed her life. And the fact that, because Daniel told her that, and then Kyle lies to her and says that's not true, comes back days later, tells the truth, and then in that little clip that we saw, even with the editing, Joseph is reaffirming the thing Daniel previously told her, and she's like, well, you're lying to me all the time anyway. What is going on? My biggest question is, what is going on with Alyssa's gameplay?
I think, and this actually was going to be my point. I think that Kyle tells Alyssa, spills the beans, as Terrence says, to Alyssa, right? Alyssa gets that, and now you would think she's happy as a clam. She knows everything. No, she's still pissed off. She has also been lied to this entire time. So like Adam says, Then Joseph comes in and tries to say the same exact thing that Kyle already told her, which she's already pissed off about. So I think she pushes all of her anger at Joseph in that moment. She can't do
the collective anger.
She can't do it to Kyle. Kyle's just being like, I'm going to tell you what happened. This is it. And you can see she's frustrated. She's like, I cannot believe I've been duped this entire season.
Yeah.
Then Joseph comes and she's like, okay, I can do this to you. I'm going to. And I think that's honestly where 80% of this anger comes from. I think she's been holding it in.
I get you.
So the thing that was really surprising to me, though, wasn't her. It was actually Turner.
Same.
Turner flipped so fast. And what was, I don't get it. Explain it to me. Like, why? Why did he need to do this? There was no need to completely join them and flip. And what is he doing? What's the long-term strategy here?
They were outside for a few days, sleeping in the elements. They went crazy. And, but I think in his head, he said it I feel like I was never quite as tight with you guys, with Joseph and Monty, as he was with Kyle and Alyssa. And, I keep saying how Turner saved the season. Turner was smart enough to he knew that people were gaslighting Taylor without even realizing he was doing it himself, and he snapped out of it. Yeah. And he said the only reason why you guys included me in this was because I was HOH. Mm-hmm. And I think the relationship that he had, and again, it's really funny how all of Turner's best friends, they never show on the show. They never, because the whole Pooch Joseph bromance, but Pooch and Turner were way closer than Pooch and Joe.
I prefer Turner and Pooch. It reminds me of Turner and Pooch. So
yes,
Turner and Pooch.
I purposely say it the other way, not to say it that way. So I feel like he is the voice of reason. He's like, well, the only reason why you brought me into it was because I was HOH. Someone else is HOH. I might not be in that. Yeah. So I feel like, again, Joseph just trying to plead to Turner, Joseph's downfall was not, being more solid with Terrence in the first place and not having stronger relationships within his alliance.
So BB is saying Turner knew that Terrence would evict Joseph regardless. So I think that's an interesting point, and I kind of agree with BB. So did Turner just know what fate Joseph had coming, and his agreement?
Still a jury vote, though. Still a jury vote.
Well, exactly. But my question is the agreement to the 4 a real thing for Turner, or is he going back to Michael and Brittany and all those people?
So I think I was expecting to say, I was wondering the same thing all week, right? Because we only there's only the 5 of them outside. He only can talk to the 4 of them outside of Joseph. I'm waiting to see a DR because I want to know where Turner's head really is at.
And we kind of saw it tonight.
Well, the moment he comes on the screen and he says, just like Adam said, I kind of felt like on the outside with this group, these are my peoples. I was like, we lost Turner. He's gone. The 1-star reviews are back on his page. He's gone.
But is he also potentially not setting himself up as a middleman, as sort of the role that Michael and Brittany wanted to have, where he could be the deciding vote, might be able to flip flop? Is he not positioning himself in the absolute best place?
Him and Terrence are perfect. Yeah, and Terrence are right there in the middle.
If Alyssa wins, if Kyle wins, if I'm Turner, I throw this 1,000%. If Alyssa or Kyle wins, boom, I'm with that 4. Yeah. If the inside of the house, Brittany, whoever, Brittany, who is it? Brittany Taylor,
Monty,
one of them leftovers all the way. Kyle threw everyone under the bus, and he can go either way. Don't win the HOH. He's in he's in a better spot than Terrence.
But as somebody who was in an alliance with the Showmans, that there's a lot of people that say that that's a bad thing, but it's also a good thing because the Showmans is always a bigger target than you are. The Showmans, so they'll go after Kyle and Alyssa before they go after Turner, because going after those 2 is weakening 2 players, whereas going after Turner does nothing, for their long-term game or coming down to the end game. So no, and yes, Turner can definitely bounce back and forth, and that's how you play, man. That's how you play. That's how you win. You got to get to the end, somehow. But that again, the beauty of Big Brother is there's no right or wrong way to play. It's what works for you on your season.
Now, while that is true, right? Joseph goes home this week at the end of the day. When he's on the stage talking to Julie asks him about Kyle's game and how he feels about Kyle selling him out. You're right. There is no right way or wrong way, but you have to get their jury votes. Can Kyle win this game?
Depends who he's sitting beside. If Kyle's sitting beside Alyssa, yeah, he wins.
I don't know. I still don't know.
I don't think Alyssa has a chance.
I don't know that the leftovers are okay with everything that has transpired.
I do think that he has an uphill battle if he gets to the end. However, look at Mickey. Look at Jax from a couple of years ago. He won the game and he was not very likable at all either. Yeah. But he won against his showman. So I think against Alyssa, Kyle can win. Kyle's going to have to do a lot more solid play along the way here. And again, maybe if this was old school Big Brother, you award that. I might get people upset here. The biggest bully in Big Brother history is Dan Giesling. Ooh. Okay, I will say that again. That's you say name names. What did he do to Danielle on 14?
Yeah.
What he had that girl in tears.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest mental abuse of all time. And then he did it again to her at the final 3. Dan Giesling's a god. We love Dan Giesling.
But that was when bullying was okay.
Which is what I'm saying. So Kyle playing that old school, I'll do whatever it takes to win. It's not like before that was respected to do whatever it takes to win. And now it's like, well, you have to do it nicely.
Well, bullying was outlawed with 15. Before that, bullying was okay.
Right.
Okay.
15 was a different level of bullying for different reasons.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're not wrong though, right? Because the way Dan Giesling treated Danielle, with his funeral, what he does to Shane, it's revered, right? Godlike, but it was terrible. It was terrible on a human level because he just mentally crippled that woman multiple times.
Right. But again, and that's the whole thing with Big Brother and even worse, the Big Brother, hashtag BB Twitter is, if somebody you like does something bad, it's okay. If somebody you hate does something good, fuck them. Sorry, but
yeah,
fuck them.
No, go ahead. Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's what happens, and it's not the message; it's the messenger. Because again, Kyle's playing a cutthroat game. Like we used to love when players play cutthroat games,
but fuck Kyle. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. He's not likable.
But I think that's so interesting you said that, Adam, because I've been thinking a lot about this now. Like, I can make an argument that Jasmine, the last 2 weeks, by people in the house and by me, has been disrespected significantly and made fun of, and maybe as far as bullying, maybe. But so for some reason, it's okay when we do it to Jasmine, but when it was done to Taylor, it's not okay.
I think one of the things that was different.
I'll let you go. And one was personal and one was superficial. The abuse that they were giving Taylor was because the other pretty girls didn't get to flirt with the boys first, and messing with Jasmine's food.
And they weren't as pretty.
Right. Depends on who you ask.
Okay.
Yeah. But like you said, messing with Jasmine's food, that's just some fun. Some good old fun.
Right.
Some good old fun. Like you're literally just pulling out the snacks. You took half her muffin. Sheldon, do you feel like cutting a muffin in half was bullying?
No, it was no. But
when
he
went back the second time, that was bullying.
I don't think it was bullying, but I think that I don't really have the most positive opinion of Jasmine. I really don't. And I've shat on her over the last few weeks that we've been doing this podcast, and part of me does feel bad. But
yeah,
she deserves it. I don't know. I don't know.
The whisper of she deserves it. I
don't know.
Don't be mad at me, please.
Based on what I see on the screen, because the truth is, when she gets out, Adam's going to be best friends with her.
Hey, you know what? She talked about bacon tonight. She's talking about candied bacon. So, dude, she's got my vote. Don't get rid of her. She's making
candy and bacon together.
Perfect.
I could imagine Adam having the vote ready to go, and then the speech he talks about having candied bacon. He's like, I'm not really sure anymore. She's right. She's making a good point.
I'll be switching my keys and asking Dan Giesling to help. That's a BB Can reference. BB Can in the
house. What happens? So this is what I'm confused about. The guys and gal from outside come in. What is the leftovers of Turner and Kyle's argument for why Joseph went home unanimously? How do you explain that?
I would say that he threw the leftovers under the bus to Terrence. That's what I would say if we're in agreement.
But all four have to be 100% on board with that, and that's a shit ton of people to trust.
I think your answer is that Terrence. I think your answer. I think what you come in the house and you say that Kyle was up next to Joseph, and Terrence had to break the tie. I think that's what you have to do. Or you say that Alyssa won the veto. And because by them not telling them what happened, you're only going by firsthand accounts of what happened. So if you go that Alyssa was up next to Joseph, Alyssa won the veto, took herself down, Kyle went up, and it was a
hold on, Kevin, you're having a hard time trying to figure out what they're going to say. How are they going to figure out what they're going to say?
They've had way more days at them than I have.
And unfortunately, we didn't get to see the feeds today to see what their I guess exit strategy was going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, do they put it all on Terrence? I don't think that's a good move, because Terrence has to, the whole point of us four going in is to be strong together. Your first thing out of your mouth isn't, it was Terrence's fault.
Yeah.
They just had to say Terrence put the two of them up, and
does it partially just depend on who wins HOH?
No, because they're already talking. You can't say what happened out there. Oh, we'll tell you after HOH. That. I think before we came on, Kevin was saying Taylor was somebody's missing around here. She's
looking for Joseph.
She's like, wait, and she's counting on her fingers, how many.
I do think though. I mean, they're talking. They're talking, and they're probably being coy. They're probably going surface level type stuff, and I'll answer any questions you have, blah 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 blah, and doing their best to kind of not throw people off, but give as little information as possible. The HOH is going to change stories. It's going to change opinions. It's going to change, Alyssa wins HOH. They could just say it was Terrence's fault and go after somebody else.
Well, I guess
from the house.
I wonder if my idea would be I would tell them the exact truth of everything that happened, from who voted who, that it was 2-0 unanimous, and Turner says I had to vote him out because Terrence would have broken the vote, and Kyle and Turner go back into the leftovers and infiltrate them as double agents, basically, and keep on feeding information to the other side, who is now actually working together. To me, that's the only plan that I would have, that everything kind of goes back to normal, but really, in truth, it's not. And they only have to show their cards when they have to show their cards.
But what information is there to feed? Terrence and Alyssa are left. You're putting them up. That's literally it. There's no real other information that needs to get out. So the double agent move doesn't necessarily work, but I think it works a lot for Turner specifically.
Yeah.
Because if I'm Turner, I go back in the house. I say, hey guys, after party, 4 strong. Let's do this. Hey, Michael, Kyle ratted us out like pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, Turner can't win HOH this week. If Turner wants to survive, he is throwing that HOH. And to back up a little bit, though, I think Michael should have actually thrown that last HOH to Turner. Because DJ Showtime was already one of the 2 finalists, so he was going to be an HOH. So 2 of them, like, he should have looked and he's cool with Turner. I don't think Terrence had any bad blood. I think he would have been in such a safe spot. And then this week he could have played for HOH. I think this is the week that Michael is so vulnerable. Yeah. And whoever wins HOH, which is why Turner cannot win. If Kyle or Alyssa win, look for Monty and Michael on the block.
Is that Michael's downfall in this game? He's too competitive. Like he's an athlete. Like I'm friends with a friend of his, and he was like a varsity athlete in college, university, whatever he went to. Like, is that just his problem that he is too competitive and he can't lose?
Well, possibly. I was gonna say. During the OTEP challenge, this was something on the podcast I was upset about because I like Michael.
Yeah.
We
all love Michael.
Terrence threw it to him. He should have came up with the idea that they are coming off the block anyway. Let Terrence win this. Let him win it. He'll take himself off the block. No, instead, Terrence is like, I'm going to throw it to you. Michael's like, okay, wins his 9,000th challenge of the season for no reason because he does the same thing that Terrence would have done. So
and
maybe
if you go to Wikipedia, Brittany does get credit for that veto win because they were festy besties. Just for statistics purposes. But talk about like a inside scoop. McCrae from season 15 used to work with Michael at the escape room. So preseason, when the cast was announced, McCrae was like, "Oh, I know this kid," and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't see him lasting too long. I even think he might be a first out, and he almost was. But McCrae told me, he's like, no, dude. He's like, this kid's smart. He's strong. Like, he might not look athletic. He is. Like, he's been a fan for years. And that first week, I kind of was hoping that he would lose just because he kept saying, like, what would Janelle do? What would Janelle do? What would Janelle do? And I wanted him to lose just because it's like Janelle would not lose. Again, nothing against Michael, but like, no, I feel like, he has put himself in such a corner where he has to win himself out because, once they start eating each other, he's going to be the first one that they go after, which is why he should have gotten out Monty and gotten Trust. Sorry.
Yep.
You're not wrong. You're not. If he takes up Monty, I guess you gain a little trust there at the last one, but is it enough to propel you to the? Because is there any way Michael can, other than beasting out, is there any way Michael could get to the end socially?
Well, I think Michael can't leave the leftovers anymore. Like, I think his and Brittany's initial strategy of trying to leave, I think that's over. Like, I think Michael, Brittany, Taylor, and Monty have to stay together till the end. That's the only way they have a path forward.
Yeah, this was the perfect week where you're separated, and you're to assume Terrence is the HOH. He's going to probably take out someone from the leftovers. They're all going to go nuts out there. They're all going to spill the beans. And you have to assume someone from the leftovers is going to go home, take Monty out, and then when you reunite, you say, look, it's coming down to the nitty-gritty. We took out Monty. I would not have done the same to you, Kyle. I wouldn't have done that to you, Turner. Let's regroup. We talked to Taylor about it. Now we have 5. You know what I mean? Like,
and it buys you a couple of weeks of getting out other people or letting other people win to take out people in your alliance that you don't want to take out.
And you still have Kyle and Alyssa as an excuse. Well, Kyle's with us, but he has Alyssa. We need to take them 2 out. Now you're at like 4. Like, now you're looking good, but he didn't do it.
However, with this group of people, Michael could probably beast out and, win and become the biggest legend in Big Brother history. We'll see. We'll see. Or he's going to be BB13 Vanessa, the best player to not win.
Yeah. Is Vanessa Russo the best player to not win? I think she is.
Danielle Reyes.
Danielle Reyes is up there. Tiffany
I
Mitchell was pretty good.
I would say, sorry, I should have said final two. Because
Okay.
Danielle Reyes. Okay, she might have been the best player that didn't win. But again, like,
Adam, what's Danielle Reyes doing these days? How old is she? I want her back.
She would probably come back if she
I want her back.
was given that
I want to
opportunity.
see her look different.
I think so too.
Like, I'd love her.
We did the Big Brother premiere party here in New York, and of all people to just show up, Rennie from season 10.
Wow.
And I'll tell you,
God.
she does not look like she's aged a day. And the only thing was, I did. Yeah, she did need a little help getting down the stairs. But no, I loved her. I loved Rennie. She was such a good character. But I want her back in the house. Like, why didn't they bring her back for All Stars? Because that's what that house was missing. All Stars was so boring. You needed somebody more colorful. It was all. I mean, like, okay, you had Enzo, but like, you needed, the female counterpart.
Listen, speaking of colorful, I have to ask you, Adam. We got you here. Tell me about Lawan's plan, please. I just need to know firsthand. I need to know firsthand about Lawan's plan. I met Lawan here in Las Vegas. I live in Las Vegas. Listen, I live in Las Vegas.
Lawan?
BB13, bro. Come on.
Okay. I gotta go back to my encyclopedia.
Okay.
He wanted to be voted out to get superpowers.
Okay. Yes. It was so I met Lawan, and I didn't want to be rude, so I told him, listen, man. I said to his face, I said, Lawan, man, I still don't understand the strategy. It's years later, but I still don't understand the strategy. And he was like, you had to try to go for the power, Kev. And I was like, okay. Okay. Adam, you're in the house with them. You were seeing it.
So, this year we had Pooch, who, Pooch is a legendary player. And because, when people say they pooch themselves, like it's now a verb. So putting yourself up, like, Lawan, before it was Lawan. So you volunteer to go up, and in Lawan's case, you volunteer to vote out to try to get a power because, again, up until that point, Lawan had done nothing in the game. He had done nothing, and you were talking before about like Monty trying to prove himself. Like Lawan's like, you know what? If I'm gonna take a big risk to get a big reward, well. Your big reward is you get to compete against go against like the beast of the beast modes of Big Brother history, at the time, and like, you want to do something to shake it up. However, so the inside scoop on that was we were in the back bedroom till 5 o'clock in the morning with the lights out, and we were talking it through. We were all talking it through, like, what do we do? Do we? Because it was either going to be a 3-3 tie, and Kiley had to break the tie, or it was going to be 6-0, get Lawan out and see if he gets the powers. And at one point, Lawan was like, "No, just done." Most of the time, Lawan was like, "Vote me out, vote me out, vote me out." And then he's like, "Well, then just keep me." And right after we finished that conversation, Kalia was out in the backyard just pacing, thinking about it, and I'm outside having a cigarette because they told us they were shutting the gate. This was Wednesday into Thursday. They were shutting the gate to build for the HOH, or what we thought was the HOH, which was the battle back between Lawan and Brendan. And just seeing Kalia walking around the backyard, like thinking, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I did not trust that she was going to do the right thing and vote out Rachel. So I went to Porsha the next morning. I'm like, let's vote Lawan out. Let's give him his special powers. Let's let him do what he wants to do. Because I didn't trust that she was going to. Now, again, who knows what the other conversations were going on, but from my perspective,
right.
Lawan said he was too wishy-washy. And not only that, but like, again, as a player, if somebody volunteers to go on the block and they stay, if you're sitting next to them, you're going home, they're staying. So if somebody says, vote me, like put me on the block, vote me out, you vote their ass out.
You send them on their way like they asked.
You vote their like, because again, like if you come back, like all coming back from that does is just show that you made a great move. Like, and again, I felt like if Lawan does go out and gets the superpower or somehow comes back, it'll be much easier to smooth it over with him. If we vote out Rachel, and she comes back into that house, you know there's going to be blood.
Yeah. Well, little did you guys know, you guys would have had to have Rachel go against Brendan, and only one of them would have been back. You would have not had Brenchel at all. You only had one of them.
Hindsight is 2020, my friends. It's but again, like when somebody like that like puts up like, you know, vote me out.
You got to. And I get it. You get
What
it.
are your thoughts on Rachel Riley?
She's a wonderful mother. Wonderful mother of two. She's a great wife to my boy Brendan.
Okay.
No.
Why do I think she's annoying?
Why do you think she's what?
Annoying.
The TV shows told you that.
Okay, so here's the thing. Competitions, competitive people will do, again, like every single competition is fight to the death for her. Like she doesn't know how to like just casually play a game. Like any game she plays, she doesn't play to win. Like if it was playing basketball, she would want to win 21-0. Like, and anything less than that is failure. So when you go up against a person like that, like of course they're going to do whatever it takes to win. So it will rub some people the wrong way. Now, again, like Big Brother 12, I was a huge fan of hers. Huge fan. Big Brother 13, not so much. And since then, like, again, like I'm sure I don't know if you have, but she was on Amazing Race a couple times. And, you know, she just, when you put her in a competition, like she does not want to lose.
Fighter.
So that will rub people the wrong way.
I can definitely see it. I can definitely see that. I have one more question for you, Adam, about the backyard.
Bring it.
You're in the backyard. If there's someone there with the bullhorn, can you hear them? How close they are?
I've looked at the aerial maps of the studio, and there is like the river that runs along.
Yeah, LA River's right there.
Okay, and then behind it there are woods. So there used to be parties going on the other side, or sometimes in the lot, and there would be music playing, and you know we would have to go inside because the music was coming in. So you know, again, it's such a wide open area that the sound just travels. So yeah, like wall yellers and whatnot. Like again, this is what people encourage the wall yellers, but then the feeds go down and people get mad that the feeds are down. So
right.
You can't have it both ways. So I really wish that the wall yellers would not happen. You know, the banner planes, thank God, have stopped over the years. And I feel like, you know, any sort of outside influence, again, one exception, Big Brother 2, 9/11. I might be in the minority here, but I feel like telling Derek and Frankie on 16 that their grandparents passed away, I feel like that was wrong. That automatically gives people sympathy for these two people. And again, like, you know, and then you get into the whole like personal or game. It's like everything inside that house is game. There's no such thing as personal. 100%. Because you don't stop playing. It's not like they say, okay, for these 2 hours, you're on your own. Nothing you can say will be used against you when you come back into the game. No, that does not happen. Everything that is done in that house is game.
I mean, so let's look what happened this season, right? When they thought what happened with Nicole's mom.
Right. And so if you knew that you were not going to get any sort of information like that, then there wouldn't be an issue. But that's what again, maybe I'm wrong, but that's what you sign up for. That's what you sign up for. And, you know, like if something bad happens, that's the risk that you take by going in there. I mean, I'm an old school player, so I feel that, but I also kind of feel like from 16, the two people that I mentioned, we're definitely getting some favors from production. So I feel like, you know, if it was Victoria's grandmother that passed away, they might not have told her. I mean, season 12, Brittany's house caught on fire. They didn't tell her. They didn't tell her till she got out of the house.
Wow. So I at first was like, that's a little harsh, Adam. But after you explained it, I think you're right. Unless you're willing to leave I would say I have something to tell you, but you would have to be leaving the game in order for you to hear it. And then that's when you can let them know, because you're right. It's an outside influence that has changed the game outside of 9/11. 9/11 was a global event, a cataclysmic event that happened in America. So you needed to in the United States. Sorry, Sheldon, you're part of America too.
The Americas.
The Americas. But it was such an event that affected everyone. So telling them all, it was nothing that one person had over another. But like you're right, having the information about Derek's grandfather, it then garners sympathy, and it allows, just like this season, it has that if something did happen to Nicole's mother, right? The sympathy of something possibly happening to her mother created a almost unfair advantage had it been used that way.
You know, we did see in a couple of times, like Big Brother Over the Top, they gave them some news from home, and they had, they said who won the presidential election, which was that was a very monumental election. Yeah. And I'm still seeing Shelby's face, when they heard that Trump became president. But I think season 8, there was a competition where you had to guess the headlines or something. But none of those were personal, right. that can. It was all like, what's the price of gas?
I think that was a luxury competition too. It was just like a fun,
right
kind of, yeah. I agree with Kevin there. When you started saying that, I was like, oh, like Frankie and Gary, you have to tell them. And then when you said that, I mean that. But
don't you have to give them the choice of getting the heck out and going to the funeral?
I think being able to leave it, if you're going to
information, you're going to have to elect to leave the premises immediately. You have been evicted.
I don't know, folks. I'm not as
you walked, not evicted. You walked. I mean, Dick walked in Adam's season.
Well,
he walked.
Dick,
he left again.
Dick walked because he had HIV.
Yeah. But how's he doing? By the way, is he doing
great. He's doing great. I just did his show a couple weeks ago. His Thursday night show. He's got Keith and Porsha, who are also from Big Brother 13. So Keith was the first one out, and Porsha was the last one not to win. So the
you voted for her though. Good job. You voted for her.
I did. I voted for her because I saw Shelley's key, and I knew Rachel had already won, and I didn't have to be the one to award her $500,000, which I was 100% a bitter juror. I was 100. Which if we can just go on record here, I hate at the final 3 that the third place person has to go right onto the stage and vote.
Yeah.
No time to decompress, no time to even talk to the other jurors and compare the stories and figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's unfair because the rest of them had a chance to actually reflect, to think, to share information. And you're actually making a vote as if you are still in the house.
Right. I was pissed. I was pissed. I thought for sure I'd get at least $50,000. I figured I played a sheepish enough game to be rewarded. Well, I mean everybody. So I'm very vain, and I've gone back and I've read stuff about my season on the internet as recently as today, and I was seeing people with 2 weeks. 3 weeks left in the game, just give out him the $50,000 and get him off the screen already. I wish they did that. I mean, at the time, I got, it was only $750 a week. I was there 11 weeks. That's $8,250 before taxes, because it's a game show. There's extra luxury taxes. So the $8,000, I walked away with $3,500 for the summer. I did meet Tori Spelling, so I'll take that.
Do they get paid more now?
They get paid, I think, it's $1,000 a week, and the game's a little bit longer. The pre before they go into the house, whatever, the pre-quester, they get paid for all that. So and they now do scale. They now do scale for the top, I think 5 or 6. There's a little bit extra because that was preventing people I just want to get the jury, because if you get the jury, you automatically get paid the full amount for the summer. They were so they were they put in a little bit of bumps for each level up.
How did your life change over the last 9 years since you left? You're obviously a big Survivor fan. You're on a podcast talking about it. You have your own podcast. I'm sure your life must have completely changed.
Not completely changed. Again, that was the good thing about being an older person going to the house. I was 39, 40 years old when I was going to the house. I already had a career. I was, with my girlfriend who a year later I had proposed and started a family. So like my personal life, I just became more popular in my own circles, like, friends from high school who I hadn't talked to in 20 years. They see me on TV, reaching out. I've gotten a lot of free bacon over the years. I've gotten a lot. I'm talking like I've gotten a lot of free bacon. I've been flown around the country to go to bacon festivals. When I first got out, when it was like when my name still carried something to it.
Yeah.
But again, but how it happened? Like I'm in this corner, like as a house guest, going on podcasts to talk to you guys, and as the fan that I am, like I have so much fun doing this. And when I got out of the house, I used to help coordinate the Big Brother New York premiere parties every year. Bringing house guests in from around the country, and the event started as just like 5-6 house guests at a bar at like 60 people. To now there's like 25-30 house guests that come to these events every year. I backed away from it after a couple of years of being a parent and stuff like that, but I get to hang out with the people that I'm watching on TV, and I'm in the VIP section without having to beg my way in. So like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And talking about like Survivor, like are you guys all Survivor fans?
Yeah, we're big fans. Yeah.
So last season, Mike Turner, he lives in Hoboken. I knew his brother, so now like I'm like introducing him to the post reality world, and like doing events and telling him like which charity events are good, which charity events may not be as good. And
so I just saw this video on Facebook of Mike. So I'm friends with Chanel Howell because I used to play online reality games with her. And so she was out with him, and he got this huge logo of Survivor 42 on his arm, like immense. His entire it was pretty cool.
I was there for the premiere of the season, and I was there for the finale. Wow. And like again, being friends with his brother, I'm like, don't tell me a word. Don't tell me a word. I don't want to know spoilers. Which again, like that's why I can't even understand like filming 9 months before it's on TV. That's got to be.
How do you shut up?
That is exactly. But I was like, there's no way he's winning. There's no way he's winning. And then I'm like, oh my God, he's winning. He's winning. And then kind of to bring it back to Big Brother, like kind of like with Kyle, it's like, you know what? If Kyle does get in front of that jury and doesn't own what he did, like he might have played the best game, the most cutthroat, to get to the end, which is what Mike did. And Mike's downfall was never admitting it, because Mike was an old school Survivor fan. And he said, that was the way you used to play the game. Like, Sandra Diaz, as long as it's not me, as long as it's not me, you make deals as long as it's not me. And, again, Sandra Diaz, one of the best players of all time. She won twice. Same thing. Any other player that does that, it's not respected anymore, because you weren't so nice to people. But again, like, Marianne, who knew Marianne was going to be able to talk her way to $1 million.
And the move she had made that she was able to talk about that no one else knew about.
Right. So, you saw it, and it felt so bad. Like, because as I said, like, Mike's not going to win. He's not going to be able to build fire. He built fire. He's going to win. He's going to win.
Do you think that Big Brother and Survivor has become too nice?
I think the whole bitter jury thing is kind of like, like the old saying with that is, you want somebody to leave with a knife in their back but a smile on their front. And now it's you don't want the knife in your back. Like, that's why, we're going to tell you you're being evicted, the day before. We don't want you to be shocked. We don't want you to be shocked.
That's bad TV.
Oh, horrible TV.
Well, they let Jasmine know yesterday that she was.
They clearly let Jasmine know.
Yeah.
But it was, if you watch it on the feeds, it was pretty funny. I don't know if you saw that, Adam. Sheldon's a show only. Sheldon's show only, so he doesn't watch the feeds. Yesterday, Adam could back you up on this. Brittany, and it was good TV too. If only they showed it. Brittany and Taylor sit her down, and they say, "So I know you want to play like an honest game. Can you tell me about the fly swatters again? Can you?" It was like they're like cross-examining her. They cross-examined her. She's like, "Can you tell me about the fly swatter? She's like,
girls,
yeah,
girls, and old school, and
yeah. She was like, it was these people. We don't believe it was them. We know you were in in the fly swatter. I don't know nothing about. Interesting. Taylor, the other floor, girls. I heard those in the lines called girls. Can you tell me about that?
Well, we were never targeting you because you were a girl. Dude, the girls were targeting you.
Yeah. It's like, and then Brittany's like, that's a lie. I'm pretty sure we talked about going for Taylor, I believe. Right. And then old school. Does that ring a bell? Does that you know anything about this?
Well, if somebody's going to come to you with the lines, of course you say yes. Like, girl, you were like part of it from the start, and like gung ho, you were getting the tattoo of old school on your own.
Yes. And when they pulled it all to her, they're like, based on all this, we can't see how we could vote for you and know that you're going to be working with us in the end. So we will be voting you out. I thought that was beautiful.
Right. And I don't think she said it, but you can see on her face, like, so there's nothing I could do. Like, is there anything I could like? You just see her like
Southern simile. Can I just try that?
Like you actually see her like deflating like a balloon, like but at the same time, are you sure? Okay, or are they just saying this? Like you don't know until Julie reads those votes. But yeah, she was definitely dressed to meet Julie tonight. And again, that's what I hate. I hate when you go on to Thursday night and they like, oh my God, it's going to be a blind side, and then they see the two people. One's dressed like in a dress, and one of them's wearing like
athletic gear.
Clothes.
I think athletic gear.
Yeah. I never like. I am the least observant person in the entire world. Maybe my girlfriend always tells me who's going home, whether I watch the feeds, wherever she. Shit, Joseph's gone. She knows exactly. I said, oh, what? Kyle's ready for a wall comp right now, and I'm like, God damn it. She tells me every time.
Adam, thank you so much for joining us.
I had fun with you guys, man. This was a good time. I think we made some progress here. I think
we did.
We all learned a little something, and I feel like we're all better fans because of it.
I think that I'm about to get cast to BB Can just because
you're Jewish.
Please, well, come on. Sabrina from season 2, and there was Rochelle.
Was Kevin Jewish?
Rochelle.
Kevin Levy. He's a Jew.
Yeah,
from Toronto.
Oh, is he? Oh, I didn't even know that.
From my, I see him at the local shop. Never, but he's
no kidding. He played a great game. Oh my God.
The best, one of my favorite Big Brother games, maybe ever.
Right. No,
great game.
And to the my brothers in the North, you've given us Rush, you've given us Letterkenny, and now you've given us the better of the North American Big Brothers. Because as much as I love U.S. Big Brother, and I'll never stop. I think the Canada game is just so much better at this point.
So much better.
Adam, why? Well,
why?
What's the analysis?
Better competitions.
Okay.
Better casting.
Yeah.
I feel like they get more diverse people and more oddballs. Which again, like I was talking before about like people I like to watch. I like to watch personalities. Yeah. I don't like to see, and again, the CBS is trying to change it up a little bit with some of the people they have, but they always have at least like 4 guys that I must
rip your face off.
Yeah, exactly. So and not saying that people are not buff in Canada as well, but also I feel like it's the Canadian people are just in general just a nicer people, and it's more of like, even though it's a cutthroat game, I don't feel like it's as hostile cutthroat. I think it's more like polite cutthroat.
I think a bedtime helps. I think the bedtime helps because you only get strategy. You have a confined amount of time to do strategy. And I think the fact that the HOH cannot compete also helps.
Oh, and the vetoes.
Use your social strategy. Yeah. HOH can't compete in the veto.
For me, I actually think that BBUS is a little bit too hokey, especially from the diary room stuff. And I honestly, my gut sense is that they kind of cast good people and they say, go be you.
Yes, exactly.
Like that's my sense of why I like BB Can. It feels not everything. So much that happens in that BBUS house feels so contrived and kind of rehearsed and like it's a show as opposed to just playing a game.
And BB Can also takes the time to like you get to learn about every individual player. Yeah. Where when someone gets voted out, you're upset about it or you're like super happy about it because you feel like you know them because they show you more non-game related stuff where Big Brother is 10 minutes of personal stuff and then 50 minutes of terrible gameplay like that.
Terrible gameplay.
There is a Twitter account that does the diary room tally and you see like there are some people like even now I think well, not now, but people like Indy probably for the entire season had less diary rooms than Taylor had in one episode. Like it's crazy about that. But no, I feel like, as I said, the better characters, better cast, better house, better challenges, better sponsors. I mean, shit, if I was HOH and I was getting a free Wendy's meal, are you kidding me? Wendy's is my favorite of all these
chicken.
And they, not just like, I'll take a triple and fries and
thank you, right, Adam?
And Frosty.
Adam, this is my first season of watching BB Can 10. Every week I had to say, why does everyone eat a spicy chicken? Give me a Dave's triple, baby. Give me a Dave's triple. Give me some bacon. Of that
give bacon. Me the bacon.
But hold on, a triple is too much. Like one or two max. Listen, I'm a fat man, but even a triple is too much.
You know what? I'd rather have too much than not enough.
Thank you.
You're starting to sound like a listener over there, Adam.
Zing. All right, that's it. I'm out. That's it. Drop the mic.
Listen, that was great, Mike. Listen, if you want to hear more from Adam, you can check out his podcast, Sirius XM, the Big Brothers podcast, right?
That's us. Look it up on the app. Free 90-day trial subscription. Just sign up. Go to Sirius XM and just search Big Brothers, and we're the first one. We're even before Rob has a podcast. So take that,
let's
Rob.
Go. Take that, Rob. Also, if you want to read some of Adam's content, go to the Big Brother Network, and you can see his bacon tofu rankings every Thursday
morning. Yep, I rank everybody's week. The best players of the week get up to 5 strips of bacon. The worst players of the week get up to 5 strips of tofu, and whoever is the worst player of the week gets the tofurkey of the week.
Who was the tofurkey this week?
This week was Joseph, because I feel like Joseph, as I said on the show here, I feel like Joseph set himself up so well with everybody except for the 2 people that he really needed to set himself up with, and those were the 2 people that caused his demise.
Yep. You can definitely also check out Adam at Heavy Metal Teddy with a Y at the end. He is on Twitter tweeting about the show and doing things like that. Mike, where can they find you, Mike, my friend?
You can find me at MR Babbling on Twitter. You can also find us at For the Fans Reality on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, MySpace, all that good stuff.
You can find me at Center Street Deli. I'm getting a little beef. It's just here in Thornhill on Center Street. Check me out tomorrow morning. I'll see you there.
You can find me at KG Fury at all places that you can find social media. I'm doing stuff about the stuff and the show. Last thing before we let you out of here, Adam. We talked pre-show that you're a fantasy football player.
Yes, I am. Oh,
who if you have the 106 pick, who 106? I know.
What's the scoring system? Are you talking PPR, half PPR, standard?
We're talking PPR. Guys, I have a draft this week. Excuse me. I have a draft this weekend. We're talking. It is going to be PPR, full point PPR. And
you don't need to say full point PPR. That's what the P is, points. So point.
Yeah, but people say half point. Some people say half point.
Half PPR. Full. You don't. It's either half
like
PPR.
It's ATM machine. Right. It's the same idea.
All right. So at 106, if Najee Harris falls to you, I jump on that all day. Najee Harris.
So you think Najee over Justin Jefferson?
Yes, because how many weapons are in Minnesota? How many weapons are in Pittsburgh? You got Deontay Johnson and you got Najee Harris, and they're going to lean on Harris at least early on in the season. Again, at 106, he should still be there. I'm picking. I have 2 leagues where I'm picking third, and 1 league that I'm picking 12th, and 1 league that I don't know what I'm picking yet. So at third, I'm looking, Eckler. And I'm hoping McCaffrey doesn't fall to me because I don't want to touch him. I don't want to touch him.
You don't want to be in that situation.
You can't not though. If he's there, you got to.
That's why he doesn't want to be in that spot. McCaffrey's got to go 2 because he's probably not going to 1 because it's going to be Taylor.
So one of the leagues I'm in a 2 QB league. So if it goes Taylor and Eckler, then at 3 I'm taking Josh Allen. Over, and in the other league, if I'm picking 3, I'm taking Najee Harris. If it's those 2, but if Eckler's there at 3, I'm taking Eckler at 3 all day.
Well, in a 2 QB super flex league,
because that's the only person I know.
In a 2 QB league or super flex, why wouldn't Josh Allen go 1-1?
Because everybody loves the Jonathan Taylor, and I've had him, and he is good. Again, he might go 1-1, and then, dude, if I was picking third and I get Jonathan Taylor at 3, I'll sign the alarm. I'll
keep that in mind. Be looking out for that.
At 6, if Harris isn't there, I still think Cooper Kupp was the better option than Justin Jefferson.
But last year they were in a defensive heavy run first offense. Now they're passing the ball, baby. They're spreading the ball out.
Although I'm glad I'm not at that spot because I hate taking a wide receiver that early in the draft. So in my league that I'm picking 12, I'm thinking about going 0 RBs and just going with if Diggs is still there, if Devontae Adams is still there, and then I'm a Cowboys fan, so I might take a stretch on my CeeDee Lamb at 12.
Oh, Adam, we'll talk more after.
Go
Sheldon,
Eagle.
I can see Sheldon knows no idea what's going on here. Get out of here with your Go Birds, Mike. Mike is the Eagles fan. We'll talk about that after the show. Thank you for joining us, Adam.
Thank you for
joining us.
We can do a whole podcast on fantasy football.
Oh, I would love to. For the football, from coming to you from outside the Big Brother house. Love one another and eat more bacon. Adios.
It's good for the keto.